Hey everyone, welcome to this issue of the Productive Dad newsletter. Last week we looked at journaling and having a physical journal. Today we are looking at a deep dive into my second brain, which is all inside Obsidian. I want to give you a tour around my Obsidian vault, but also explain why I'm using Obsidian and what advantages it has. So let's dive in. Whenever I bring up the topic of having a second brain, people always ask, why are you doing that? What is the point in having this second brain? Why are you making all these notes? So first of all, I find it improves my memory. I use Obsidian to journal a lot, and it's really nice to go back through all my journals and see what I did on different days and just relive certain memories. I find it helps me create new content as well. This newsletter is all actually written inside Obsidian first, and then I edit it inside there before publishing live. I just find it's a nice space to work in. I find it makes me more productive as well, and by that I mean I can focus on the things I want to focus on. Because it's like a closed system, I'm not distracted by the internet, which is something we talked about in the last issue, and again why I've started using a paper journal. Brain dumping is another reason why I use Obsidian and a second brain. It's really good to have a place where I can just get everything out of my head. I can get all my ideas out and then I can just delete them, or I can go through them, but they're out of my head. I use it to learn new things. Watching YouTube videos or podcasts, I make notes on it and link ideas together. If I'm thinking about something that Rick Rubin said, but I can't quite remember what it is, I'll go back into Obsidian, search for Rick Rubin and go, oh, that's what he thought about creativity. Oh, that's how you work with people. Get rid of the ego, that sort of thing. And then finally, it helps me make decisions. In life, I can look back at my journal, I can see where I maybe made a decision and it didn't quite go the way I wanted, or maybe I applied for a few jobs and I didn't get them, and now a year later I'm trying to apply for jobs again. I can look back at that time in my life and go, what did I do last time? What went well? What didn't go well? What do I want to start doing? So that is why I have a second brain. Now let's do a walkthrough of my Obsidian vault. I want to show you around, show you what I've built, and maybe it'll inspire you to build something like this yourself. You can see on your screen along the left hand side is my second brain. This is my vault. This is all the folders that I've had. I've tried not to make it too complicated. So we're going to start off with the home note. The reason I have a home note is it feels like a nice place to start the journey wherever you might want to go inside your second brain. What I've got here is a little note on how my second brain works, just in case I forget. Then I've got a quick access to my journal, and then I've got a place to jump back into ideas. It lists the most recent notes that I've edited inside there. You can see this one, number 10, why I use Obsidian. That's actually what I'm recording now for you. That's the home note, nice and simple, nothing too complicated in there. The next folder that we have is called Encounters, so we'll go right up to the top, 01 Encounters. And the reason they're like this is so that they're all in the order that I want them to be in. Encounters is where things and ideas start. Now inside here we've got a lot of notes. There might be some nonsense in there, there might be some good ideas, bad ideas, but what I like to have, and you'll find this in quite a few of the folders, is I have a note called plus and then about encounters, or about whatever folder you're in. And the reason I put a plus again is it puts it right to the top, so I have a home note in each folder to remind me what that folder's about and how I can use it. We've got this about encounters in here, we've got a quick blurb, and then again we are using a table, and this is using a plugin called Data View. This is what it looks like in code. It's saying please use Data View, make it a table, and I want to have all the files that are in 01 encounters and where the file name does not equal plus about encounters, and then sort them by the modified time, and you click out of there and then you get all the notes. Encounters means I can now go inside here and I can look through these ideas and then I can create them. I can go in and I go, right, how to deal with tangibles, or history of Britain, let's say. We go into this one, I think, yeah, this is interesting, I want to keep that in here. What I could do is work on it some more, and then I would upgrade it to a note rather than an encounter, or I can leave it in here until I'm ready to upgrade it to a note. So talking about upgrading things to notes, let's close this one out. We've got notes. Now notes is what encounters go up to as the next level. I've decided, yes, I definitely want to keep this, is now staying in my second brain. I've got an about file in here again, And we have a look. The safe trail ends, a forest stands before you. Taking a deep breath, you enter the forest. I want to invoke some sort of emotion when I enter my notes. I go into here and I go, what is all this about? Why do I want a traveler's notebook? That's me asking myself a question. Why do I want a traveler's notebook? So if you saw the last episode, I gave some reasons why, and now I'm really asking myself, do I? Why do I? It's a place to put down ideas that I want to keep in my second brain, and then I can start connecting things together. Maps. Maps I'm not using too much yet. A map is a guide to help you travel between different areas of your notes. I feel like I don't have enough notes yet to really use maps. MOC stands for Map of Content. I've got one for health, history, personal knowledge management, and productivity. Each of these are pages. So if I go into PKM, you see I've only got 5 notes in there. But again, I'm using this data view plugin. I think it's the most useful one for me. And inside here, I'm saying, get all the notes from my notes folder, where, and then I have this related tag, and I connect notes to the PKM MOC, which connects them to this page, basically. It gives me a place where I can just focus on one topic, which is quite nice. Now next, we have got the journal. You can see it goes back to 2015 in here. I haven't quite sorted all these out yet. I have an about a journal page, and I've made a little note. Daily journaling gives you the chance to discover new lessons from the past experiences. I want to remember all the little details about my life and Ramona's life growing up. Ramona is my daughter, where I've blurred out the picture there. I have, again, using data view plugin, I've got the date of the journal entry. I've got an alias, which is what I'm basically giving the title to the journal. My mood, I'm just using simple colors. Was it a good mood, a bad mood? What was the day like? I then tag the people who are in the journal, and then I give an image that represents the day. That is my journal system there. I just come into Obsidian, I click the new daily note button. If you look down the left here, you've got this one called Open Today's Daily Note, and that is what I'm using for my journal. It'll automatically put today's date in there, and it will put it into my journal folder. Next, we have got this Productive Dad folder. Inside here, I've got meetings and newsletter. Meetings are just generally transcriptions and notes I've made about meetings to do with my business, and the newsletter is where I'm writing the newsletter. This is where the drafts start. We've got this one, number 10, why I use Obsidian. Deep dive into my second brain. So this is all the stuff you've just seen, and what I was doing was using another plugin here. This one shows a slide preview of the note here. I can click this plugin. You see it's got a side by side, and this is exactly what you were just seeing at the beginning of the video. All the information there as a nice slide, and you can change your style and all that kind of stuff. Then we've got a people folder. This is where I tag people, and I can make notes about people, like our relationship, how I met them, that sort of thing. It's just nice to have. Then we have an extras folder. Attachments, this is where any attachments in Obsidian go. And then we've got templates. I've got a few in here, and I said I would show you, we'll go for the core note template first. This is what my core note template looks like. When I start a new note, I hit the slash button. As an example, I go slash template, insert template, and then I can choose my core note template from there. You'll see I have this little call out at the top, and it gives me my key topics and related pages. Is it about a book, or is it about a video or a podcast, that sort of thing. And then related, this is where you can relate it to other notes, and this is where I was doing that. Let's say like PKMOC, I could relate this note to that personal knowledge management map of content. But this is what the template looks like. Any new note, create the template, and then it just populates it with a title, and I can fill out all these things, and it looks quite nice and pretty. And then my new journal entry, same sort of thing. We've got a call out at the top, people that are tagged in the journal. I can always navigate back up to that about a journal page, anything that's related, alias, mood, and then an image that represents the journal. And then what I've done is added some tips in here, again, to just remind me how to use the journaling page in case I forget, because I like consistency. It's nice to just be able to remember this is how to use it. That's the templates and extras, it's all done. And then we've got Readwise. Readwise is where I was connected to Readwise, and it would automatically sync all the highlights that I made from my Kindle books and any podcasts and articles. It would sync them all into here. I've recently moved over to Omnivore because it's free. It's not as polished, but it's free. I was like, cool, I'm not using Readwise to its fullest extent. Omnivore's free, and Omnivore also syncs with Obsidian. Here's an example of one of the notes that's been taken. This is the sense maker, because you care about how you think. And it's automatically picked up the author, which is Nick Milo from Linking Your Thinking. Go check him out. He's what got me into Obsidian and helped me build out this system to what it is today. It takes the highlight from the article and then it adds my note onto it. I think this is why journaling and note making are important. You can better understand yourself and all of that sort of good stuff. That's how the Readwise folder works. It syncs stuff not from Readwise anymore, but from Omnivore. And then finally, we've got this file, which I need to delete. But this is the one that I was using last week for the presentation. I already explained about the slides in there. And this is the presentation that I gave last week with all the pictures inside there. So that is a deep dive into my second brain. I hope you get some value out of that. Maybe it sparks some ideas for you. Let me know if you're using Obsidian or a different app and how you're implementing your own second brain system. It'd be really interesting to see. And I will see you all in the next newsletter.